So my name's Jeff Buske, and we're going to entitle this Growing Up Minnesota. Or Minnesota, if you would. See, that's where I grew up, and I loved playing high school hockey. And this beautiful afternoon, I came around the net, picking up speed, and I grabbed the puck, and I was headed up the ice with a full head of steam. The first man came at me, and I put a move on, and he missed. The second man came at me, and I put a move on, and he missed. The third man came on, I put a move on, and he didn't miss. I caught his elbow in my face. It took me off my skates, and the next thing I knew, I thought I was seeing stars. But the truth is, it was the lights at the top of the arena. And as I lay there in a minute and I regained my consciousness, I grabbed my equipment and I brought myself back to the bench. When I arrived at the bench, I could taste the blood on my lips. I took off my helmet and I said, oh my gosh, I took my mouth guard out and I asked my buddy sitting next to me, where am I cut? And he said, forget cut, where is your tooth? And I thought, oh my God, I reached up there with my tongue and it was true. I was missing half of my front tooth. A flood of emotions came over me, most of them fear. Like, I hope that my dentist can recreate my smile. I hope that my parents can afford it. And I hope they're not mad at me. And secondly, how long is this going to take? And is it going to hurt? It's the same thing that our patients feel. But that wasn't the only fear that I had that day. I had another fear. You see, I had a date that night with a girl from another school, and it was my first date. So I had a decision to make. Was I going to hide in my fear, or was I going to be willing to be rejected? I chose to show up. She opened the door and greeted me, and I smiled, and she said, oh my gosh, what happened to your tooth? And I told her the story. And she greeted me with compassion and kindness and asked me, would you still like to go out? I said, of course, that's why I'm here. And see, I learned something very powerful that day. I learned the fact that vulnerability is the pathway to power. If you want to be one of the most powerful people in the room, it's not about how loud you can get or how much animation you have. It's truly the fact, can you sit back and be vulnerable? Can I give you a reason to accept me or reject me? I had one of my mentors once say, Jeff, a boy does not become a man until he no longer fears disapproval. And a man does not become free until he no longer needs approval. When you no longer need approval, your cup is full. And when your cup is full, you can love your life, you can be powerful, you can be vulnerable, you can be you. Thank you very much.